We are about to do a fit live stream Q&A with my good friend Sam O'Bannon. And once he joins on here, then we are going to get started. So yeah. Hey, what's up, Joseph? Hope you're doing well. Right now we're waiting on Sam. I see you just joined. Okay, here we go. Let me see if I can figure this out. Bam. All right, Sam should be joining sometime very soon. There you are. Yes.
What's up?
What's up, my man?
There you are.
Dude,
Yeah,
I felt that fear that you felt last time that we did this when you were on here
oh,
like a minute.
oh, it's overwhelming. You feel it.
Yeah,
That little bit, it's isolating.
you're just like, what the heck is going on?
What's happening right now? I don't know who to talk to.
Well, everyone, Sam is my good friend. We used to room together in Los Angeles. He is the man. He's a fitness guy as well. And I think he has a couple of questions that he wants to ask, and we figured we would live stream it, and maybe it would be beneficial for everybody.
You know, you just know when you're listening to Rick or Fit that he's going to drop some keys and some wisdom every time, very practically. We spent the whole summer together, working out, getting tips. Man, one thing I think that would just be interesting, a quick story is the first time, I came back to our apartment this summer, I walk in and I see Devin after a hard workout eating an orange dreamsicle. And, he's fit, he's bulked. If you follow him, you know it. And so my first question, was why are you eating a dreamsicle after a workout? Because my thought then was, why are you wasting away your workout
Sure.
eating a dreamsicle?
Mhm.
So, this kind of just like trend of, you need to eat whole grain, you need to eat, whole wheat stuff right after a workout. A lot of the people we follow say, maybe that's not always the case.
Mhm.
So when it comes to, your post-workout nutrition, can you kind of just walk us through, why a dreamsicle is okay to eat post-workout and why maybe there's some things that we could eat after our workout that we might not have thought are good to eat?
Yeah, sure. So that's a great question, and you're right. A lot of people categorize food into healthy and non-healthy food, right? So they say this is bad for you, this is good for you, right? Well,
Yeah.
that's usually not the case. Now there are some foods like trans fats that you probably just never want to have, but things that are high in sugars are not necessarily bad for you if you have them at the right time. You have to realize that sugars are, you can utilize them for good, for a good purpose. So what you want to do is utilize them after your workout. And so the reason I was having a dreamsicle, and maybe that's not the exact healthiest option, but for fitness, having some sort of sugary carb afterwards, whether that's a dreamsicle or that's a lot of my clients do Gatorade during and right after. That was going to be really good for promoting muscle growth. So
Mm,
if you look at the science behind it, carbs are stored as glucose in your muscles. So if you're using those carbs for your energy during your workout, you need something to fuel you up really quick. And to get these sugary carbs, they digest really quickly and they get into the muscles and help refuel you.
mm,
So not only that, but they also are your number one brain energy source. So what we find is that if you have nothing throughout your workout, maybe just some water or whatever, and you're having like a long workout that day, maybe like an hour or 2 hours, whatever, then your central nervous system, your brain, is going to start to fatigue over time, especially after around that 30, 45-minute marker.
yeah.
So if you're having some kind of sugary carbs like Gatorade during your workout, then you're much more likely to stay active and stay energized throughout. So
Mm,
one
that's
of
good. So Gatorade's not all that bad. So if I had a bowl of Cocoa Puffs after a workout, is that a bad option to have?
yeah. So we also need to talk about the difference between health and fitness. Just because Cocoa Puffs will be really good after a workout because they are very sugary carbs, it's different for people of different goals. So for you and me, those are totally fine with us because we don't have like high blood pressure. We don't have to really watch our blood sugar, anything like that much. But for, someone that may be in really bad health or has an addiction to sugars of those sorts of things, then maybe there's better options to have. But for people, in their early 20s, men or teenagers or 30s or whatever, you're in good shape, you have a constant habit of working out, and you're in control of your diet, like you have a good grip on your diet, then you can loosen up a little bit, and you can have things like what you're saying, like cereal right after your workout. And that goes back to, that's because it's sugars, right? And sugar
Hmm.
bad for you. They digest really quickly. The reason people think they're bad for you and that they make you fat is because most people don't work out. And when you have them and they're digesting quickly and your body's absorbing them, when they don't get absorbed into your muscles because you don't need them, then they get stored as fat, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
that
but
makes sense.
yeah, when you need them is right during and right after a workout. That's the perfect time to do it.
Cool. So we have a question from Austin Schoenfeld. He's saying, "What's the best way to cycle pre-workout, or if you should even take pre-workout? What's kind of your thoughts on pre-workout, and if negative, positive, and if they are positive, what does the cycling kind of look like?"
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. Yeah, so pre-workout, it's something that I personally don't do, and I've tried not to get into because I know a lot of people that become addicted to it. They say, like I need this to work out. So if you're doing it, then, or if you've never done it before and you're able to get a good habit of working out in, then don't start it because it's literally just going to give you a little bit of a boost of energy. It's just like becoming addicted to caffeine. You're gonna do it a couple of times, you're gonna feel great, you're gonna have great workouts and stuff, but over time that energy that you have from doing that is going to start to decrease, and then you're going to need more of it and more of it, and then eventually you won't even be able to work out without that pre-workout, right? Because you'll be
Yeah.
feel like crap and I need pre-workout, and if I don't have it then I can't work out, right? So you're going to get in this addictive mindset to say, hey, I need this pre-workout to work out. What you really want to do is build the habit of working out without it. Now, having said that, if you can utilize it, and I like, if you're going to do it, I would do it in cycles, just like you mentioned. I would do it in about a month to 2 month cycles, and it depends. And I would do it only during the most important months. So if you're on a really strict diet, or you're leading up to like a sports competition, or you're leading up to try to get like a PR, like a personal record on a bench press or a squat or something like that, then maybe you can cycle on it for about a month or two. And then, once you get done with that, you go back to your normal training and everything, then go off of it.
That's really good. That's really good. I'm a personal fan of coffee before a workout, just a nice cup of black coffee.
Yeah, yes.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have Caleb Ward, who asked a really good question that I think we could both answer. Kind of, what are some practical protein snacks? It's a great question.
Hmm.
What do you think for it? I'll answer after you.
Yeah, yeah. I want to leave. I want to hear what all you have to say about this. But as far
Yeah.
as protein snacks, I mean, you've got your things like your protein bars, which, I was telling him earlier actually that just being able to, like, protein bars really don't taste good. Like no one really is like, wow, I can eat a protein bar. It tastes so good. But a trick that I have found is if you warm it up in the microwave for just like
Ooh.
15 seconds, then it tastes exactly like how it's supposed to taste. Like the food that it says on the wrapper, like if it's a cheesecake flavor or whatever, but you
Hmm.
warm it up for a little bit, then it actually kind of tastes way more like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
protein bars and yeah. What do you think?
Man, I think one that I love is just beef jerky.
Yeah,
Beef jerky, straight beef, dried beef. The only thing that's a little bit of a concern is the sodium intake.
sure.
It usually has a high amount of sodium, but when it comes to sheer protein and just snackability, I don't even know if that's a word,
It is.
but it is now. I think beef jerky for me is usually a go-to kind of snack. I always have, a nice maybe bulk bag at the house and just chomp on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, I think when it comes to one thing I always have is a sweet tooth. I mean, I just told Devin, that I love Cocoa Puffs after a workout, but I always have a sweet tooth going, and one kind of practical, high protein, good carb snack is a Halo Top ice cream. I mean, man, Devin knows from just this summer how much ice cream I can eat, and that's just it's substitutes your kind of sugar fix for ice cream, and usually each pint has 20 grams of protein in it, and it's good whey protein, and also milk proteins that are in it. And so I think just when it comes to snacks, sheer protein, just pure snacks, I love beef jerky and a protein snack to satisfy, kind of like a sweet tooth. Um, love Halo Top. Love Halo Top.
I love that. I think those are great options as well. And I would just add on to if you can, probably the healthiest, and you can make them taste good, is protein shakes. So
Mm,
we can talk about that for a little bit too. Is there's two primary types of protein shakes. You have your whey protein, which you want to take right during slash after your workout. So whey protein is a fast digesting shake, and then you have casein, which is a slow digesting shake. And typically, that's what you would want for a meal replacement. So you may have that at nighttime. The best time to have it is not right before bed, but like about an hour, hour and a half before you fall asleep. And you can make it taste good too. You can get like the PB powder. I can't remember the exact name of it, but peanut butter powder, and it has like basically no calories, and you can put that in there, and it tastes like a peanut butter shake. You can mix it with a little bit of almond milk, things like that. And so that's like that is the perfect, like, very low calorie, high protein, snack to have.
that's great. That's really good. Um, yeah. One question I had, and then Leilani, see Fit with Lay just
Yeah.
hopped on.
Shout out to
Um,
Hey, if you don't follow her, go follow her right now.
we have a couple questions coming in. I wanted to ask you one before we hit these two. When it comes to warming up, when it comes to you're getting into your workout set, and it comes to, strength training, also when it comes to, any type of aerobic kind of high intensity hit classes, those are different. But when it comes to sheer strength training, what would it look like? What would a good warm up look like? Is it smart to have a warm up, or should the warm ups be kind of working into your actual sets? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great question. So a lot of people get warming up. They kind of get incorrect because it was taught to us, in sports and a long time ago, that warming up is static stretching, which is like where you hold something like this for like 30 seconds. You hold something
Or a little one of these?
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. But there's actually been some research to show that static stretching actually can decrease your power output. So especially if you're
Mm.
going to be lifting weights, it may not be the best thing to do. Also, shout out to Rickness Fitness who joined, my brother,
There we go.
on here. So back to the stretching question. So we're talking about stretching before you work out. The best kind of stretching is something that's dynamic. So you want to keep moving the whole time. So what I have a lot of my clients do is like kind of like a little shoulder, like spin just like that, forward, backwards, kind of get the shoulders loosened up. I find a lot of my clients have like really tight, really, just cold shoulders. And so we do that. We do some hugs. For some people, we'll do some jumps. I know you like to do jumping jacks or jump rope
Jump
beforehand,
rope.
and that works out really well. But more importantly than any of that is that if you're using weights and you're doing strength training, let's say you're doing squats, the most important kind of warm up that you can do is squats, right? So if you're doing like a set of 300 pounds and you don't want to just jump into it, or you don't want to do a dynamic stretch of body weight squats and then go into 300 pounds, you've got to know your body. And if you're squatting 300, you probably know your body well enough by then to know how to warm up. But what you really need to do is start with something like 135 for 5, then go to like 225 for 3, and then maybe 275, and then jump into it. So I do like a 5-3-1 protocol. I do like 5 reps of my lightest weight after my body weight warm ups. So I do
Yeah.
5 reps, then I do 3 reps, then I do 1 rep, and then if there's still a gap there, like if there's still a big gap, like if I'm going for like 400 my 1 rep was like 275, I don't want to just still jump into 400. I'll do like 1 rep of like 315, then 1 rep of 350, then I'll go into 400.
That's good.
Mhm.
That's really good. Yeah, I like that. I also like not doing so much static stretching because in reality, the mobility actually comes from the warm-up sets that you're doing rather than, the static stretching that's happening before.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
Trying
I was
the
really quick before we move on. I was gonna say,
yeah,
if you're gonna do static stretching, the best time to do that is right after your workout. So to kind of loosen it up, I know a lot of people get tight and stuff, and that can be a really good way to recover is through static stretching and things like
yeah,
yoga stuff.
that's really good. That's really good. What are your thoughts on intermittent fasting?
I think it's great. Now, I used to not really be big on intermittent fasting because I was like, back in my bodybuilding days, I was like, okay, you need to have your 4 to 7 meals a day. You got to have them evenly spaced out, and that's optimal. But what I realized is that optimal is different for everybody, right? So, what may be optimal for someone that has all day long and doesn't really work or works from home or whatever, and they can have 7 meals a day and they're a bodybuilder, then that's perfect. Intermittent fasting may not be the best for you, but if you're like a normal person, maybe you don't like to eat breakfast, maybe you have trouble losing weight, then intermittent fasting is a great option. And I have some clients that do that. So they'll stop eating, late into the evening. So they'll stop, around 7, 8 or whatever, and then they won't eat again until the next day after like around 11 or 12 or so. So they've went, a long period of time, and then after in between they can have their stuff. Now, what I do recommend though is what would be more optimal is if you could have a good source of protein, in between the intermittent fasting. Like if you have a lot of muscle mass, you probably don't want to lose a lot of that. So
Yeah.
having sources of like casein protein would help with that.
Yeah, because casein protein, correct me if I'm wrong, has, up to about 7 hours of kind of going through your system. So, you drink a protein shake of casein, that's lasting in your body's digestive system, keeping your muscles intact for up to 7 hours. So
Yeah.
so what you're saying, that'd be a great source if you're intermittent fasting for that 11-hour gap, if you're not eating.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
For sure. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Hmm.
Cool. We have Joseph Smith, JCTN, that asked, are there plant-based sources of protein that you'd recommend? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you're going to go vegan or if you're going to go vegetarian, then this totally works well. I mean, research shows that kind of an omnivorous diet is probably the best way to go, like for maintaining muscle mass, but you can still get you can get a lot of muscle mass or, get into great shape. I mean, some of the healthiest people in the world are vegan. So, I mean, I don't have a whole lot, but you can look at like tofu and chickpeas and, you know, I know there's like, I know there's other sources that you can get. Let's see, you have like all of your like nuts and things like that as well. And then there's also a lot of great like protein powders that are vegan based. So those are going to be really good. So if you're on a vegan diet, the only thing I'd watch out for those is try to get one that doesn't have like a whole lot. If this is going to be a post workout shake, try to get one that doesn't have a whole lot of fiber because that's going to also slow down the digestive system.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I would just yeah. Do you have any recommendations on that yourself?
Yeah, I don't know much about plant-based protein. Probably the proteins that I would recommend, it's totally specific on goals. I think it's kind of subjective to the person. I usually stick with whey. It's super, super digestible, also very quickly digestible, especially as your muscle fibers are tearing. It's usually that's usually rated as the best source of protein to immediately enter your body, and also the most concentrated and kind of isolated.
Sure.
And so I would recommend that. I really don't know much about a bunch of plant
Yeah.
proteins,
Yeah.
but usually what I'll do is about 30, 45 minutes before a workout, have a scoop of whey protein that has about 20 grams, and then right after a workout to 45 minutes, 2 scoops of whey protein with a little almond milk to kind of get that creamy taste, but also to get that 40 grams of protein that are needed just absolutely urgently from your body after, you're working in your working sets, your workout,
Yeah.
to get that to start repairing your muscles. and then usually a scoop of casein protein right before bed. That's kind of my normal daily structure on that.
Sure, sure, sure. Awesome.
So
Mhm.
it's a great question, Joseph, and also
Yeah,
another great question
yeah.
uh, by Austin. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and I'll share my thoughts too on how do you usually go about the week of hitting a PR? It's like a personal record.
Yeah, so
Do you hit that? Yeah, you see the question.
yeah, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, so leading into PR week, really the week itself is it's important, but leading up to that is even more important, right? So you want to make sure that you're training. Let's say you're trying to hit a 1 rep max. That's usually how most PRs are. Some people do like 3 rep maxes. Some people do like 5 or 10 rep maxes. But let's say it's a 1 rep max. So what you really want to do is you want to in your couple of cycles beforehand. So let's say a couple of months before you're doing high volume. You're really trying to get that muscle packed on and everything. And then the months leading up to it, you want to take down the volume quite a bit. You want to stick to like 3 to 5s, like as far as reps go. You're lifting really heavy, really heavy. And then you really want to take the volume down that very last week. A lot of people are like, dude, bro, let's just hit it like super hard, and that's going to give me the extra push into the next level. But you really don't want to do that because that's going to super fatigue you. You want to come in with as much energy as you can. And when you're fatigued, you can't really do that. So what I would do is I would do like the week of, like I said, the week of is not as important as the months and months leading up to it. But the week of, let's say you max on a Saturday or something, and let's say it's a squat. So you might do, a pretty moderate workout with squats, like threes or something at like 70%. I'm just throwing these numbers out here. I would actually structure it out for like a power lifter or something, but you might do like 70%, nothing too heavy or anything, threes on that Monday. Then you might come back on the Wednesday or Thursday and do a super light day. And then on that Saturday, then you're going to be ready to max because your body is not, you've still got that, you've still done enough squats where your body still has like those motor neurons like still readily available. Like your body knows the motion. Like sometimes when you don't do something for a while, you kind of have to relearn it. But doing that over the week with a really light amount of weight is going to keep you like really, really engaged with how to do a squat. So you do that on those 2 days. And then on Saturday, you come in and you've got to know your body. So I would do exactly probably the same warm up that I was telling you about with a little bit of dynamic stretching and then
Yeah.
like a 5 squat. Maybe it's just the bar. Maybe it's 135, whatever. And then a 3 squat, then 2 squat if you feel like it, but definitely a 1 and then a 1 and then right 2.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's great. And I love how you hit on the biggest part of it's not necessarily going big, going big on that certain day, but it's the months leading up to it as you're preparing your body. You know, we talk about, there's the, hypertrophy. There's a hypertrophy period where you're getting high volume. So pretty much you're getting more reps than normal. And you're I love your, use of like a snowman. Like hypertrophy phase, you're basically adding on, kind of the thickness a little bit, and you're adding increased kind of reps with kind of lower intensity, but going in through hypertrophy phases. But then the strength phase is usually lower reps, and you're kind of like packing in the snowman. And
Exactly.
then usually, so after the strength phase, is that usually when you want to do a peaking phase or like a, kind of a 1 rep max sort of
Yeah.
thing?
So I would probably do a couple of strength phases in a row. You don't have to just do just one. And that's like I said, it's also dependent on who you are,
Yeah.
and what you're looking at doing. A power lifter is going to be completely different because they're going to almost always be in strength phases, and then
Yeah.
strength phases. And then, but an average person, that's just looking to get stronger, just looking to have like a really good, peak week and just really try to see how much they can lift, then you can do like one strength phase, maybe two. And what you really want to do is you want to taper down your volume. So if you're doing, 4 sets of 5, the first strength phase, then you might take it down to, 3 sets of 3 or 3 sets of 2, but a little bit higher intensity. And then, like I said, that last week, you kind of really back off quite a bit and just prepare for that max.
It's really good. That's really good. Rickness Fitness, not to be confused with Ricker Fit,
Hmm.
asked regarding hypertrophy and strength, if you had to sacrifice meal timing or cardio timing, which one would most negatively affect gains?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. So in regards to hypertrophy and strength, he said, right?
Yeah, regarding hypertrophy and strength.
Yeah, yeah, I would definitely sacrifice cardio then.
Yeah,
I mean, the cardio is it's very important for getting in shape, but it's as far as like gaining muscle, retaining muscle, cardio is kind of opposite of that, you know. So actually causes the opposite. The more cardio you do, usually the less muscle you're going to have, right?
yeah,
It's catabolic in its nature. So yeah, so I would try to have your nutrition pretty spot on, or at least be getting in a hypercaloric diet, like we talked about last time, just having a lot of calories in to gain that muscle. Now, if you're losing weight, and then it's a different story, because then calories are still way more important, but you still want to get your cardio in as much as you can. You know.
yeah. Yeah, and I usually, when it comes to specific amounts of cardio, I think there's a lot of cardio you can get within an actual working set. But that's, like you said,
True.
it's totally subjective to the amount, to what your goals are.
Yeah.
If your goals are to gain muscle, which, saying like affecting gains, so gaining muscle, I agree with you. I think, cardio is something that is dependent upon your workout intensity.
And
How intense, how overloading are you doing each week? Are you increasing weight, increasing intensity? And that in itself, doing it right, is actually good cardio to increase gains, increase muscle mass.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see. He had a clarifying question. Time matter more compared to nutrition.
compared to nutrition.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If you had to have cardio,
If
uh,
you,
Ignis Fitness, are you saying if you're gaining weight and gaining strength, or are you saying if you're losing it? Um, because both cardio timing and nutrient timing are not really big factors. Cardio timing it can be a big factor. Like if you go out and crush it in cardio right before your workout, that's a bad idea. You know, like you're
right, right.
yeah. So that's just gonna totally fatigue you, you know. So if I were gonna do cardio, I would do it first thing in the morning, or I would at least separate it from my workout by 6 hours to be optimal. So
Mm.
yeah, if you do it on the same day.
That's good. I think one last question, then I'm going to have to cut out. I think this would be good just for anyone listening right now. If there's someone that's saying, I want to get healthy, like I want to start, I want to figure out something. I want to get on the right track. I want to get my fitness right. I want to get, workouts right. I want to get my nutrition right. What would you say is the first step someone should take when it comes to, I want to get better in this area. I
Yeah.
want this wholeness, this fitness. I want to be fit. What's the first step I should do? I'll answer that with you. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I love that question, and it's funny. I work with a lot of clients that have never done fitness before. They have never entered a gym. They've never worked out. Some of them in their 50s, 60s, and they're doing it for the first time. And they have those exact same questions. Like, how do I do this? Like, I have no clue how to get in good shape. And the answer is it's simple and difficult. So it's simple in the fact that all you have to do is be consistent, right? And be consistent at doing good things. It's difficult because you have to be consistent at doing good things. So
yeah.
what I almost always do is, I think a lot of people go south because they try to go too fast, and they try to do it all at once, right? So they'll come in and they're like, I just need to change everything about my diet. I need to change everything about my lifestyle. I need to start waking up at 4 a.m. and getting 2 workouts a day, and I need to have
Hmm.
1,000 calories maximum a day. But no, that's not sustainable. What we're
Yeah.
talking about, key word is lifestyle. How are you going to be able to maintain a lifestyle over a
So good.
period of time, right? So if we're talking lifestyle, then what we need to do is make small changes. So instead of changing everything, let's take one thing to change, and let's say working out. That's a great place to start. And that's where a lot of my clients start. Is I say, instead of changing your nutrition, let's worry about that, in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Don't worry about that. I don't want you to be overwhelmed right now. Let's start with, can you come in twice a week? Can you do 3 times a week? And so we create that consistent habit of just working out. And
Mhm.
it doesn't even have to be crazy. It can be 20, 30 minutes as long as you're doing things that are good and they're going to be beneficial and helpful. It could literally, for some people, it could just be walking, getting in a habit of walking. So it's creating a habit first. And then after that, it's realizing that where you are. So if you're looking at it as a line graph, your habit starts, you're down here. You're not even on the graph. You start a habit, you're down here. Then you want to just progressively just get a little bit better every week. So if you're walking 20,
Yeah.
you might want to walk 21, 22 minutes the next week. Then, get up to where you're doing, 30, 40, 50 an hour of cardio a day. So
Yeah.
start small, and then build up for yourself.
That's so, so good. I wish I could have recorded that. Um, yeah, and I'll add on to what you just said. I think there's two things I think of along with those. It's starting with the end in mind, and it's also finding someone who's doing it. You know
Mm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Starting with the end in mind, as in what's, the initial thing is, why am I doing this? Like Simon Sinek, start with the why. Why do I want to get better? Why do I want to get more fit? What's my motivation? All
Mm.
right, I found my motivation. I want to be healthy and I want to make this a lifestyle thing. I love what you said. It's a lifestyle thing. It's not, a 30-day fad. This is just something that I want to become. It's not something I just want to do.
Exactly.
It's who I want to become.
Yeah.
And then also, for me, this summer living with you, I saw things that you did. I saw things how you tweak things, and I asked questions, hey,
Yeah.
why can you eat a dreamsicle bar right after a workout? Or,
Yeah.
I'm doing this squat, how should I, do this form right here? Or what's a good warm up? Finding someone who's doing it and just starting to ask questions, I want to do this, but where should I start? Or, I'm trying to find a gym, a good one, or hey, could I work out with you just one day a week? Kind of see how you do things. And then, you have that person, have that mentor that's walking alongside, because it's so much easier to do things when you have someone who's keeping you accountable and also a resource to kind of keep moving forward along with consistency. It's a lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. That's something that I tell my clients whenever we're able to meet in person, or whenever you get to go back to a gym, or even if you're not. Some of the most important things, other than the habit, is accountability. You have to have someone there to help you out. You have to have someone that knows what they're talking about, someone that's knowledgeable in this field and can lead you in a good direction. Because there's a lot of crap out there that can lead you and lead you astray. So
so true.
that's why I say don't just jump into it, because sometimes if you just jump into it without trusted accountability, you might get into that crap and then you're like, screw this, I'm not going to do it after a couple of weeks. So, and then the
Yeah.
second thing is community. Find yourself a community. Like, so I have almost all of my friends work out. They have this. I see them posting about fitness all the time. I love that. And even though we're not able to work out together currently, we're able to talk to each other about it on the phone later and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
My girlfriend Taylor just swung by on the
Oh,
bed right here. Devin said hi. Well, that's great stuff, Devin. Ricker Fit, man, give it a follow. It is so practical, such good stuff. I recommend after we end this live video, go follow it. Devin's awesome. He's taught me so much. Great guy. Thank you, Devin, man.
hey, thank you, Sam. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. We'll do this again soon.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
See you, bro.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. That was my good friend Sam O'Bannon. And man, we used to room together when I first moved to Los Angeles. He is a great guy and a really great athlete, great at basketball, and can squat a ton. Quick, funny story. Actually, yeah, no, yeah. I'll save it for the next time that we do it. We have a quick, funny story about one time he was squatting, and it was probably the worst time in history because an earthquake happened. But we'll tell you that next time we live stream. But guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we're going to try and do this again soon. So just let us know if this is something you enjoyed, and let us know if you have more questions, and maybe we can do it again, maybe next week or a couple of weeks out. So yeah, thanks so much. Have a great night.